When you break down what makes Arman Tsarukyan such a devastating force, you're looking at way more than just another contender. This guy walks into every fight with a complete skill set that's honestly terrifying. The physical tools are there, the technical breakdown game is elite level, and he's got that complete mixed martial arts foundation locked down. What really separates him though is the psychological warfare, that unshakable confidence where he genuinely knows he can beat anybody they put in front of him. Look at how he dismantled Justin Gaethje, and let's be real about this. That performance sent shockwaves through the entire division.
Either Justin Gaethje or Paddy Pimblett for the interim champion, but he didn't choose him. They chose Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett. Justin Gaethje beat Paddy Pimblett, so by law, according to the Westland Gangster at RCW 3 10 16 12 4, the interim champion should be fighting Ilia Topuria next, and that's the fight that needs to happen. And then after that,
picture this scenario unfolding. Arman Tsarukyan gets the call to face whoever emerges victorious from that explosive matchup between Justin Gaethje and Ilia Topuria. This fighter has zero doubt in his mind that he possesses the perfect combination, the exact formula needed to not just survive, but absolutely dominate at the championship level. He's not making wishes or crossing fingers, he's stating facts.
Раз вернулся. Сумасшедшая прокачка пресса. Новое дело. Я как-нибудь другой раз попробую. Я с турником на вы. Уважение. Да. Вот отжимание получше.
boom, boom. He puts his arm in. Here, boom, 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 and then whap. You can do that.
No,
yes, for the right training program, we get you right where you need to be.
Yeah.
Okay. You want some water?
No, I just started.
Okay. 40, okay? Give me some respect. Give Uncle.
Is he the hottest guy right now? I don't see anybody controlling the media as well as Tsarukyan.
Here's what's happening with all the buzz around Tsarukyan lately. Look, we all understand how this game works in combat sports. You've got the social media machine, the massive promotional push, all that thunderous excitement building around someone like Arman Tsarukyan. And sure, you could think that's just smart marketing. Maybe he's got that sharp promotional instinct working for him. What you're actually seeing though is someone who's deliberately constructing this massive wave of expectation, building this incredible pressure that he's placing squarely on himself. The Octagon doesn't give a damn about your follower count or how slick you sound in interviews. That cage is brutal and honest, a complete test of everything you've got. When those doors lock, everything else becomes background noise.
Man, this guy's eating. It looks fun. It looks really fun. But Tsarukyan has now made headlines. Tsarukyan works with Coach Cal. That's a piece of the story, because Tsarukyan came out yesterday and said, I'm the #1 contender. I am.
So the question burning through all this momentum he's building becomes crystal clear. Can he back up every single bold statement with genuine devastating performance? That's the defining moment right there. What separates someone who flames out quickly from a fighter who establishes true lasting dominance at the elite level. Actions have to match the words.
Win fights, they conquer narratives.
They become real. Like if somebody took him up on that offer, if Volkanovski or Lopez calls him out and says, you're next, and the UFC goes for him, and I'm just sharing for you, like, once it's said, it becomes a thing. And so he laid out as part of his statement, right? And one of the reasons I think he is serious is because he
Here's where people completely miss what Arman Tsarukyan is really doing. This isn't casual conversation or friendly suggestions. What's happening is much deeper than that. He's literally willing his destiny into existence. When he mentions competing at 155 or 145, get this straight. This isn't just weighing different possibilities. This is a direct challenge thrown at the entire mixed martial arts landscape. He's calling his shot, and now everyone has to respond.
breaks everything down and calories in, calories out, and monitors your workouts. I'm just sharing for you that. What do you think of that? I mean, this kind of went wild online. My own phone was getting.
People might just hear requests, but those paying attention see something completely different. They recognize a willingness to demolish any barrier, regardless of weight class or opponent. This transcends basic fight intelligence or tactical knowledge. This is the raw, unfiltered heart of a warrior on full display. Remember this and understand it completely. This is championship mentality being forged in real time.
You know, Lopez has his hands full with Volkanovski. I'm just sharing with you. You know, when you go out and you make some claim like, I'm going to drop to a different weight class and I'm going to fight for a title. Okay, great. Can you get a headline? Is that something that people believe and that people are interested in? Check and check. He had those boxes. A next step, but it's a much higher step, is to get the guy with the belt or the guy.
This isn't promotional talk. Not even close. This is Arman Tsarukyan straight up telling everyone that he's not sitting around hoping for another title opportunity. He's constructing that opportunity piece by brutal piece with singular focus. And here's the reality that needs to sink in. The record books and fight statistics might paint one picture, but they cannot capture the absolute savagery and iron will required to stare down an impossible challenge. This is where a fighter's spirit takes over, where tactical brilliance meets pure unbreakable determination. You need both elements firing perfectly to emerge victorious in this ruthless business.
Simple things to think. Like, wow, Tsarukyan. And it's really fun to take a guy and put him in a different weight class. And you can go either way. You can move him up, you can move him down. It's a really fun thing.
All this chaos that Tsarukyan is creating, this goes way beyond typical fighter promotion. This is calculated psychological warfare against the entire lightweight hierarchy. He's not just preparing physically for battle, he's mentally conditioning himself to manifest the exact fights he wants. That's pure fight intelligence in action. This guy weaponizes his own ambition. Here's the truth most people overlook. A real champion never sits around waiting for opportunities to appear. Champions create those opportunities. He doesn't just call out opponents. He generates such undeniable momentum, such overwhelming demand that the promotion has no choice but to give him that title shot. Tsarukyan isn't just physically ready for war, he's in complete career domination mode. Lock that in right now.
On what you think about that, because in many ways, does it solve a problem? Sure it does. We acknowledge in this sport, Arman is the #1 contender. We acknowledge in the sport that Arman should be fighting for a world title. So how are we going to do it? I'll just move down to 145. Well, but we also acknowledge that Lerone Murphy should be fighting for a title. We acknowledge that
You think the divisions are jammed? You're missing the point.
Those rumors you keep hearing about division changes and all this attention grabbing, get this clear in your head. That's way more than promotional noise. That's a calculated announcement of incoming warfare. Arman Tsarukyan isn't politely requesting an opportunity or asking nicely for a chance. He's strategically lighting a fuse under a bomb so explosive that it forces the champion to acknowledge him in what's guaranteed to be a career-defining war.
should be fighting for a title. So as jammed up as they are at 55 with 3 potential options, if Arman goes to 45, now they're jammed up with 3 potential options. I'm just wondering, like, what do you think about that? Do you believe that a bigger guy in Arman, do you believe if he cuts down, he therefore takes precedent? Do you believe that? Because when Ilia Topuria, who wasn't just the...
That passive approach might work for newcomers who haven't figured out how this business operates. Real fight intelligence, the hallmark of someone who gets it, means actively manufacturing those opportunities and bending circumstances to your will.
That's the comeback you're about to witness.
That just said, hey, listen, you haven't proved yourself here yet. Khabib himself said, we're not going to fight him. You're speaking for Islam. This is before Islam had left the way. He said, we're not going to fight this guy. Come and do something at 55. Do anything, but do it at 55, then call me. So what do you think? We're putting everything in reverse. Like yesterday when Arman said it, this got a great reception. Everybody loved it. Ariel loved it. I loved it. James Madison loved it. I mean, I'm just sharing.
Forget the noise, forget the callouts. The Octagon doesn't respect your mouth, it respects your proof at 155. You think you can just skip the line in the lightweight division?
What separates pretenders from legitimate champions isn't just winning fights, it's that mental fortitude, that absolute refusal to break that allows you to conquer your own doubts and limitations before you ever face an opponent. Mastering yourself comes before everything else.
But he's now created another dialogue. So the way this works is we've got to exhaust all options. And I like Arman's approach, by the way, if you want me to critique it.
Lock this fact into your brain immediately. Tsarukyan isn't just another lightweight hoping for his turn. He represents a legitimate threat, not just to individual fighters, but to the entire divisional power structure. Talking about dropping to 145? That's not some basic tactical adjustment you can break down on paper. It's complete promotional warfare, a genius move to control the entire conversation.
I want to fight for a championship. I've never liked that approach more than a specific guy. Than a specific put your finger in the chest of Ilia Topuria. Oh, by the way, he happens to be champion. It happens to also be a championship opportunity. Boy, I hadn't even really thought of that. I just want to fight him. I find that personal grudge approach to be stronger, but Arman's in a unique...
Here's the brutal reality that's flying over everyone's heads. Contenders typically wait patiently for their moment to arrive. Champions actively seize those moments by force. When you witness Arman Tsarukyan in that intense predatory training mode preparing for his return, understand exactly what you're seeing. That's not someone hoping for an invitation to the big dance. That's someone aggressively forging his own path forward, step by grinding step. His comeback transcends simply winning a couple fights. It's about completely destroying every barrier standing between him and what he knows belongs to him. This isn't about having options or making convenient choices. For him, this is absolutely mandatory.
Social media than Ilia Topuria, just by example. I feel like this guy's red hot. He stumbled into something, by the way, with this feast.
Okay, pay attention. Ignore the trivial. Getting straight to the point here. Arman Tsarukyan isn't just talking big. When you really study contenders, examine what drives them, you realize they're like loaded weapons just waiting to detonate.
Jam at 155, fine, I'll just go to 45 and fight for the belt. And I don't know how much he meant it.
Here's where it gets fascinating. This transcends a simple fight. It becomes the ultimate examination, and this is the unfiltered truth when you're dealing with...
Doing a great job, he's in front of the media. But, and there is a but, I've never liked the idea of...
Genuine champions. They don't back down or look for easier paths. They absolutely hunger for these brutal confrontations, the kind that expose anyone who doesn't truly belong at the top. It's time to rise to your own defining moment, confront your ultimate test. This question cuts to the core of what combat sports represents. Who actually deserves what they claim? Let me tell you something crucial about Arman Tsarukyan. He doesn't just chase divisions or hunt for convenient matchups. He conquers obstacles, almost like he's drawn to them. This isn't about numbers on a scale or arbitrary weight categories. This is about someone completely locked into warfare mode, motivated enough to adapt and prove that a tougher challenge or unexplored division isn't a roadblock. It's pure fuel for someone with Tsarukyan's mindset. He feeds off that pressure. He's creating a reality so completely undeniable, a statement so impossible to ignore that he'll force this entire sport, every fan and expert, to acknowledge it, whether they're ready or not. Arman Tsarukyan is burning that conviction into his core, making it part of his DNA. Every strike thrown in training, every drop of sweat during preparation. That's not just getting ready, that's a warrior systematically transforming himself into a champion. Arman isn't just preparing for another fight, he's building an ironclad argument for why he deserves to be champion. Piece by exhausting piece, eliminating any possible doubt. That represents the authentic championship mindset, not just fighting to win, but earning your place in this sport's history. He's targeting the absolute elite, and his climb back to the summit isn't about finding some lucky break or perfect opportunity. They're hunting a person, the division leader, whoever holds that championship. That's the ultimate target. Regular contenders fight for chances, desperately hoping for their moment. Champions work to brutally establish dominance over specific opponents, that exact right to rule. Arman's warfare mentality isn't really about winning a belt. It's about sending an unmistakable message that echoes through the entire weight class. That deadly calm isn't indifference at all. That's the measured approach of the ultimate hunter. Real champions don't frantically chase gold or scramble for recognition. They hunt fighters, they crave the confrontation, they want to rip that belt away through pure force. They want to see their opposition completely and permanently broken. Arman Tsarukyan isn't playing games here. He's conducting total warfare against the very idea of anyone blocking his path. That ice-cold attitude, that seemingly careless approach, that's the engine of a fighter rebuilding himself from the ground up. When someone stops worrying about superficial results and focuses entirely on destroying whatever stands in front of them, that's when you see them in their most lethal form. He's training to become an unstoppable force. He's shifted into complete war mode, and trust me, it means absolute total destruction. His campaign across 2 divisions isn't a humble request for a title opportunity. It's a calculated announcement from someone who considers any championship his natural inheritance. He's completely committed to pushing himself to the breaking point, enduring whatever punishment necessary for any path to gold. That's not desperation talking. That's the raw predatory instinct of a true hunter, that merciless, uncompromising determination to put his body through the torture of extreme weight cutting for any route to the title. That's the difference right there. What separates good from legendary? It's a statement that declares I have superior fight intelligence, a warrior spirit that won't be denied by any obstacle or circumstance you can create. He's not waiting for doors to open. He's preparing to kick them down, to force his way through. He's ready to compete at 145 and fight for that championship. That's not just tactical flexibility. He's already studying the landscape, making precise calculations and planning complete domination. When you casually dismiss that as simple talk, you're completely wrong. That's championship psychology, burning white-hot, relentless fire that consumes everything in its path. A true warrior doesn't just choose his direction. He commands his championship destiny. He molds it. He forces it into reality. Here's the harsh truth that can't be argued. Real champions don't just want a trophy or shiny hardware for their collection. This goes deeper. It's the primal call of a predator claiming its rightful territory. This strategy, the quiet assurance, that's psychological brilliance in action. He's not desperately reaching for the belt. He's making it come to him.